Okay, listeners, welcome to our conversation this morning. I've got a very special guest with me, and whom I'm going to introduce in a second. But before that, just to let people who are listening into this channel for the first time, this is a community channel of Think Talent called Talent Coven, and we've got conversations with a whole host of leaders going on here. These are short video conversations on different topics, and today we are going to talk about very senior or what you would call top leadership talent. So let me welcome my special guest today, Mr. P. Dwarkanath, who's, I would almost say that one of the doyens of industry, but more important, been in the industry as a working professional for almost 5 decades now and extensive experience across different, I would say portfolios of HR and business. And, one of his last assignments, he was the chairman of GSK in India. More importantly, more than the corporate positions he's held, I respect and have affection for him for his humility and the fact that he's extremely down to earth and more important, brings a certain wisdom to the table. So Dwarka, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you, Bimal. Thank you for your kind words. I really commend your initiative. I think what you are doing is absolutely correct. You are trying to disseminate your views and thoughts through various other leaders to make the HR be aware of it. Before I start, I just want to make one comment, Bimal, if you can permit me.
Please.
I think why these initiatives are important, especially for HR fraternities, because you work for more than 3 decades with passion, and I've been nearly there for 5 decades. I think we need to send a strong message to our HR fraternity. Mm-hmm. Please don't look down yourself. And you have a key role to play. Right. Especially, I'm saying not just because of this pandemic. This is one of the eye openers for the entire community and the industry that HR can play a very crucial role. It is not that struggling to get a seat at the center, but you should get it because you have to earn this. You cannot command it. And what else an opportunity for you to leverage on it and to move forward. So in this context, your initiative is great.
Thank you. Thank you, Dwarka. So let me launch straight into my first question. So, you've had, extensive experience of looking at top leadership or what I would call senior leadership in organizations, and different industries, and you've actually mentored a lot of them as well. So, when you look across different industries, what's your view? What is the view of, for example, boards and senior people around senior leadership? Is it different across different industries or is it more or less common?
It's a great question. In my view, it depends much of the culture of the organization and the leadership of the organization. Right. There are companies who believe and they also practice. Belief is one thing. Implementation of that belief or values into actions is a secondary aspect. Sure. That is more critical to me. Mm-hmm. But, there are companies which say people are our most valuable assets, but in reality, you don't find that. I have seen different kinds of organizations. I would say it's nothing to do with the nature of the organization. More than that is something to do with the culture and the philosophy of the organization on people and talent.
Right.
So that is the top, especially for the top leadership team. Some of the things, if I can say, is that, you talk about succession planning, you don't have a planning. I mean, if you want to make sustainable and growth oriented on a long-term basis, is important that you should have a valuable asset today and you should be able to sustain it for the future. Correct. But I find, some of the organizations where they have a great initiatives for top leadership talent, but in terms of implementation, though the culture of the organization per se may be great globally or otherwise, but the concerned leaders may feel very hesitant to identify the succession planning because a lack of insecurity or a threat for the competition. So these are the things, some of the things I said. So there is no one size fits all. I don't say FMCG will be like this or manufacturing. There are companies, you worked in manufacturing, I worked in manufacturing. It's a great company like Eicher or DCM, basically. But, there are companies of different kinds. So to conclude, much of the top talent and the leadership pertain to much depends on the culture of the organization and leadership and the focus they have on the top leadership talent.
Great. Thanks, Dwarka. That's an interesting viewpoint, because what you are effectively also saying is that while yes, there will be some differences between industries and companies, but the differences are more related to culture and values of the organization and how they look at developing leadership talent than the industry per se. So great.
Yeah.
So as a follow up, Dwarka, you would have, I'm sure, assessed, I don't know how many thousands of people at senior leadership levels. What are the kind of things you have looked for, and what would be the few things which I think would be absolutely critical for top talent?
Okay, I would like to give on my own, based on my experience. I
Sure.
think fundamentally, it belongs. I don't want to be sound philosophical, but or theoretical. But I think what is important is the belief of the organization and the top leadership team is that everyone committed and everyone contributing. I mean, that is the value mantra which I've learned in GSK. Though I heard in DCM, which was very good in developing top talent, and they've developed. The difference between the GSK and DCM perhaps is not only the GSK was much later than DCM when they pioneered in the management team along with the TAS. There was not a sustained and a systemic efforts in case of DCM. Much depends on the individuals beyond a point how they progress themselves. But in case of a GSK, the fundamental concept is, everyone committed and everyone contributing. That's sort of a faith, Gillies. Everybody has got an opportunity to develop, provided you are in the right track and you deliver what you have promised. The second thing is leaders are developed based on the concept of developing self and others, which I feel very strongly. If you want to really develop, you should understand you should not only develop yourself, but you need to develop others. Otherwise, you will not be recognized as a leader who has proven a track record. You may be a very successful per se, but tomorrow you say what Bimal has done for Nokia or some XY has done for someone will not be done, because that is the hallmark of a good leader. And GSK has taught me how to develop leaders. In the process, how you develop yourself.
Yeah.
I think, that is a one important aspect which I've seen where the companies, and second, the third practice which I would like to say is, you may say top leadership talent, that's why specifically it's great, but ultimately to reach top leadership talent, you have to start somewhere. Correct. Whereas if you see GlaxoSmithKline has this concept of leadership at all levels, which will lead to top. Right. And we had a philosophy. I think it is not one size fits all forever. It's not the mantra, but at different times you have to adopt different approaches. At the right time, GSK has adopted the approach. Especially, I'm talking about the consumer healthcare in India, where I've been associated for 4 decades. Right. The concept of 2 + 2 + 2. That means in order to develop the talent, you need to work in 2 countries, 2 businesses, and 2 functions. Right. So that's where, and also I believe that every talent need not be homegrown, or better to have a hybrid, though Correct. Different organizations have formed different. So I think fundamentally, if you want to create a leadership bench strength or a top leadership talent profiles, it's important that you need to have a different strategies. These strategies can vary from time to time, but fundamentally much lies on the leadership drive and the culture of the organization. How do you practice the values you have put, what I call the hardwiring the soft stuff?
Right. No, that's great, Dwarka. That's a great. I want to pick on one of the specific points you talked about, which is that, top leaders don't come into those positions on day one. So effectively, you have to grow from the bottom in a way. And, would it be useful, to look at this whole concept in terms of saying that, you are actually developing people from the ground. as you go up, these are the people who are then looking to develop, as you said, others. But also, and this is maybe a bit of a provocative question, what we also see in a lot of leaders is that, once they reach a particular position, they almost believe that they have it all, or, they know everything, kind of a thing. What's your comment on that?
It's a great observation. I totally agree. That's why, based on the situations, you have to assess it. I do not blindly follow the principle of homegrown. Only you need homegrown products,
Mhm.
and you should have a hybrid, because they will bring an outside in perspective. And secondly, the point you're making, which is very relevant, this is where I think I keep quoting Jim Collins. When you talk about you reach a particular level, you become insulated. You think what you do in this organization, any company, you name it, oh, this is the right way to do it. You guys, you have to do it, which may not be the right thing, a right approach to do it, because people can add different dimensions, and learning is an experience. I think
Mm,
when you start thinking that you have reached it, that's all, I've reached the self-actualization, this is where the challenge comes.
mm.
This is where I said, just leading to the point which I would like to make it, a leader needs to be assessed at every phase of his journey.
Right.
There are some people who are great potentials. When you reach number one, there are failures. It
Mm.
could be a performance or a competency issue. Most of the times, from my experience, they fail because they lack the attributes what you are recommended, lack the personal humility,
Mm.
lack the ability to understand there is a lot of learning needs to be made, but they think that they've realized. And secondly, what hold good tomorrow, even for today. So
Right.
you have to change with the times, adapts. This is where the quote of a leader is one who can cope up with change. That
Mm.
adaptability at every stage is important. If you allow me, one of the things which GSK has taught us
Mm.
is organizational savvy. You may
Okay.
say, what is that organizational savvy? I think, if you want to succeed, you may have a great IQ, you may have a great EQ, but
Mm.
the EQ also need to be applied and adopted at the right time, at the right place.
Right.
When to push, when to withdraw. There's no win-lose situations. These are the aspects. I think most of the leaders, having reached a stage, having proven a track record for years, they fail. They are not able to sustain,
Mm. Mm.
because they think they are the ultimate gods, and nothing can change them.
Right. No, that's a great. So Dwarka, slightly different tack now. You've had a very very distinguished career and a long career in the sense, and as I said, you've seen a lot of leaders. But what what is your view of the future? Do you think that in the next few years, and nothing to do with the pandemic, but in general, do you think some things from a leadership perspective will change? What else will be required of leaders going forward?
I see there is a lot of change is required. What I believe, this conventional wisdom is okay to till certain extent. I think, you need to break. I mean, when I said first break all rules, I mean, which is famous book which I keep practicing, try to practice it. uh, you need to challenge the current status. I think this has started happening. It is not just because of the millions alone, but it's not because of the technology or digitalization. It is mainly primarily because that is the need of the hour, the agility and the speed with which the markets are changing, global environment is changing. You can't say I apply the old principle of GE of 20-70-10, or 360-degree feedback in this fashion, or a performance management systems, or the grooming of the talent. It's undergoing a revolutionary changes. So I think, if you want to reach the next orbit, the question which I feel, Bimal, it's very important to succeed apart from EQs or organization savvy. Do you have the courage to raise a question? And secondly, you have the ability or the appetite to learn from anyone, what I call, be it a reverse mentoring, or you call from others who may not be equal in many respects in terms of age and experience, but
Right.
who can also add value to it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. One is the whole learning piece, and linked to that is what you spoke earlier, Dwarka, about, which is about humility. Because I think and the other second aspect you talked about is courage, and the courage
Yeah.
to raise the right question. I would only add one more dimension to it, that even the courage to actually question yourself, what
Yeah.
decisions you have taken in the past, and are you willing to relook at them and actually go in deeper and say that I am willing to go back and say that I was a failure and therefore I need to deconstruct my own paradigm. I think that's the other aspect which I see in successful leaders very often.
If you, I totally agree. I start reflecting on what decisions I have taken. I said, if I'm doing it, I've admitted openly in some of the forums. He said, I would have done it differently.
Hmm.
It's not because the times have changed, but maybe, a different perspective.
Right.
I think if you don't listen to different perspectives, the syndrome which you explained earlier will happen. I know it all. This is the way to do it. There's no other way. It
Correct.
doesn't work.
Correct. No, that's a great point. So, Dwarka, while a lot of things will change, and I think rightly you have pointed them out, what will not change? Do you see that there are one or two things which are, almost, I would say, timeless, if you will call that? And I have a view, but I'd first like to, listen
Okay.
to what will
Well,
not.
you see, the fundamentals in terms of the beliefs and the cultures, I think it will not change. For me, let me put it, the preamble of the Constitution is sacrosanct.
Right.
Even fundamental rights, as long as it doesn't affect the basic structure of the Constitution, will change. But fundamentals, preambles which have been enshrined in the directive principles will remain as it is. So similarly, when you come into the leadership talent, top the leadership team, people are the key assets. They need to be groomed, and you should believe in what you say. Tone at the top is important. It is not what you deliver, but how you deliver is important. These fundamentals giving to the governance or ethics or in the value-based approach will remain the same. Rest of the things, how you do it, when to do it, to whom should apply, these aspects will change.
No, great. One last question, Dwarka. Since you talked about courage and humility and learning and all that sort of stuff, uh, maybe a couple of examples from your experience around, how have you actually tested these in leaders? Because these are difficult traits to really test. Particularly when you are looking at people who've got a great track record. How do you really
Yes.
test it?
It's a great question. Please allow me. I will share two anecdotes.
Sure.
One of the anecdotes, when I was being groomed, one of my mentors, who was not my manager, but another very senior leader, he wanted to hire a guy, okay, in his function, sales. So he said, I've seen him, I met him in a market, I've seen him, he's a great guy. He sent it to my manager. I was the corporate HR, my boss director. He referred to me. I looked at him, and you see, as I was still very young and at that time bubbling with energy, I've written a small note saying, Rohit, he has got great not fit for this job for the following reasons. It's more urbanized, more it is, he can't do rural marketing and all. So that went to the concerned sales director. He was apparently livid, and he just wrote to my boss, how dare this young man can write to me? His experience, his age is not equal to my experience. Does he know more than me in the market? He was telling me, okay. So my boss has given in. So no choice. We said it was approved. I wish I'd been an HR director, I would have studied, but I don't offense. But maybe if I was there at that time, I don't know. The point is that fellow was appointed. After 6 months, he could not sustain. The person who was instrumental in appointing him wanted to dismiss him. And he came back and told me, Dwarka, you are right, I am wrong. Yeah. That in my view has moved up. And then he sat with me and gave his rationale, but he shouldn't have said what he has said, but why he has called the judgment. Correct. And why he did not agree. Okay, that is this has given me a lot of encouragement that, if you had, as you said, if you can change your thinking, you can change your strategy approach as long as you're fair and you realize it.
Correct.
You may not to demonstrate to the whole world, it's important. Similarly, for me, I started believing in reverse mentoring for last 24 years, to be precise. In 97, one of the young trainees in a big group of our discussions, when we're talking about some behavioral event aspects, she said, "Sir, I don't agree with you." She was young, 3 months old. Everybody looked at their 40-year leadership team of GSK. Everybody looked. Then they said, "How dare you are to saying?" I said, "No, listen, let me listen to me." I heard her. I think she had some good points. So I said, "Fine, we can change the approach." So, then she came and met me. He said, "Do you think, everybody's saying, don't worry. I think she's doing extremely well in a multinational leader." What I'm saying is, you need to allow people to raise it. Only thing I said, you could have said it in a much better way.
Right.
Not in that, because I could take it, but someone may not take it. Please be aware. Then, unnecessarily you will be in a stress situation you should avoid. You should know how to speak, when to speak, where to speak, and where you should not speak. And that is here you should speak it. Encourage people, but because you're given a freedom, don't misuse it. Sometimes it can happen, but this is not the case. But these are the two, as a mentee and as a mentor, I have seen, which has really had a far-reaching impact on me. And lastly, I would say, at any time in your career, be it at the infant stage or at your final stages of your corporate career or the leadership career, one thing is important: inspiration. A leader needs to be if you want to develop, groom top leadership team, it is not just the titles, positions, responsibilities, but also what I call the psychic income. A stroke at the right time can help. I just want to say it at the cost of taking your time. When I started my career as management trainee of DCM, after 18 months, I used to work with Dr. Sharath Ram. And 18 months later, I was given the confirmation letter by him personally. There was no need. There's no policy. I think, we get carried away to develop a leadership talent, to have a big manual. This is where we do mistake. And he said, "Dwarka, I'm giving you a challenging assignment. Congratulations, you are confirmed." But it was difficult in those days to confirm everybody. I have been sending you to Lucknow for an assignment. Your luck starts now. Okay, that was I think, this is where, you groom people. This is called a mentoring. This is called a counseling. This is called an inspiration. You can give it different way. There is no one way to groom a talent or develop a talent. There are various ways of addressing it.
Yeah. No, great, Dwarka. Those are lovely stories, and thank you very much for this conversation. I think, these are some, what I would call, nuggets of wisdom.
Thank you, sir.
From your experience and, the person you are yourself, and how you have reflected and absorbed some of these things. And I'm sure our listeners will really enjoy this conversation. So thank you again for this conversation. I'm sure we will continue to have. I always love having, these conversations. I always get some insight. So thank you again.
Same here, Bimal. I really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for inviting me to this session. And I wish you have such a lovely sessions with others, and you will spread this message to the fraternity. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwarka.